Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is one of my own, because it's been a while since I've shown you one of my battles, so I decided, you know what, let's do just that. Now I'm in a Scharnhorst, and on the map Haven it's a standard battle, unfortunately, and there's a carrier, but the carrier is only tier 6, and we're top tier, so that's amazing. Now there was an airstrike incoming, but we have a lot of ships here at the same spot. I even launched my fighter plane here to help out, so it seemed to be going rather well. Now unfortunately all of the ships that here spawned in the south seem to be going here up into the north as well. We'll see how that turns out. I mean, in a standard battle you don't have to split up and contest multiple caps. You still don't want to get flanked, so you have to be careful if the enemy pushes as far as so they can get crossfires, but we will see. Also, since it's a standard battle, there is usually not much incentive to push. So, well, we have basically just still a big blob here at our spawn. Now I'm divisioned with Viper Sox, so he's also in a Scharnhorst, and 2 top tier battleships is certainly much potential for pushing if a situation arises. Like, I mean, obviously you can't push early on in the game because there are way too many ships and they would just wreck you. So for now, I guess we will just stay here and have a little bit of a longer range engagement and see if we can't find a nice opportunity. Now there seem to be quite a few ships here in the north from the enemy team, but we haven't spotted all there is yet. So I assuming they might have ships here on the left. We have a gator going there scouting, which is pretty nice, because we really would like some information what's happening on the left. Now I also would have preferred if some ships would have stayed here to stop any push coming from the left, but yeah. So far it doesn't look too bad. Also, the way I'm positioned here, I have this massive island here towards my left. So I should be... So basically, if our little blob here pushes a little bit further north, we should all be safe from flanking fire from the left. So they'd have to sail all the way around until they can get shots at us. And hopefully at this point we will have dealt with the most forces in front of us. So, other than the Citadel early on, my shots haven't been doing an awful lot so far. But yeah, that happens. Let's see what we can do to this broadside Friedrich. And... oh, our shields just took a hit. Now, it's always important in a situation like this to keep your eye out what's happening here towards the left, because at some point we might have to react to this. Now, those torpedoes are also a reason why I don't want to go any further here. Like, I should be in a reasonable position where I'm not really too big. Well, the threat of getting torpedoed isn't too big, and I can still get some shots at those guys, but there might be some time to move out now, especially since the ships on the left are coming closer. And we have cruisers that are potentially orienting themselves in this way, which is not necessarily a good thing. Like, those cruisers might just... like, this Pensacola is showing broadside to the ships in the north. And it's not like you want to lead the cruisers a push towards those battleships coming in from the left, especially if they go like on the other side of this island where they don't have any cover. And it looks like the enemy team is actually starting to push right now. So I have basically 2 options, right? I could turn around and try to meet them. I could also go forward and then turn left, basically follow those cruisers, and that's what I'm currently contemplating. Like, pushing in the north is a bad idea, because like those enemies are not really coming our direction right now, while the ships on the left are pushing towards our cap. So if we push just north, even if we can sink those ships, we might just lose the game by getting capped. So basically the ships on the left are now becoming a bigger threat. Now unfortunately our YOLO push here on the left, I mean, they dealt with this destroyer, but those cruisers, they are out in the open, and that's not where I want to be. So I'm on my way, and this is where I decide, like, you know what? I think I'll have to go over there and help. Unfortunately, I'm just too late for that. Well, I've slowed down here once more to hopefully get another shot on this Omaha. I should have just kept going. I was still a little bit debating at this point. But there really is no option other than just push towards the left here. Especially since the ships here in the north are really not looking like they wanna come here anytime soon. So, I mean, this game has been going for quite a while here. And not too many ships have been sunk, which is also pretty usual for a standard battle, I suppose. Now we've just lost a couple of ships. We also lost our carrier due to an enemy airstrike. Now the planes, well, the enemy carrier didn't take care of his planes when they returned, because it looks like on their return path they're sitting straight over us. I could use my fighter plane here. I kind of want to save it for an airstrike. I'm not sure, maybe I should have used it right now to help shoot down a little bit more here. But it looks like we are dealing pretty nicely with the enemy strike craft here anyway. Not sure how many planes the enemy carrier has left, but since we've lost our carrier, it would be very nice if we could really reduce the enemy's planes. Now there's a smoke screen here, so this is either the Fiji or the destroyer here. I'm somewhat broadside to this Scharnhorst. Now the Scharnhorst doesn't have the biggest guns, so I'm not too worried, but I'm slowing down here because I don't want to get too close to the smoke screen. I'm not getting shot from the smoke, which makes me assume that the destroyer is in, the Fiji is in there. Well, the destroyer is inside the cap, I guess, and the Fiji is not spotted. So the smoke screen seems to be empty. Now also something that I've noticed, like early on, like I'm spawned more towards the north, so I stayed north, and the whole team basically followed us here. Now that we are going around this way in order to intercept them, it looks like again the whole team is trying to follow here. Like, ideally, the team wants to split up a little bit, and you know, you need to stop those guys in the north pushing a little bit. You want ships here to fire at them and keep them a little bit at bay. And you especially don't want the ships here to just show broadside because they're trying to come to our side. But it looks like the action is beginning here. I could try to torpedo this New Mexico. I mean, maybe we can deal with him with guns, but orbs are on the way as well, just if I need them. And yeah, it looks like this New Mexico is going down. So, there is still a destroyer inside the cap, and there is absolutely nothing I can do about that. Well, what I can do is I can sail into the cap, right? Now at this point, I'm broadside to the Fiji, and well, I guess I'm reasonably angled to battleship. But my biggest concern is this destroyer, and even though we spotted him, like, if I can get inside the cap, I can block his cap progress. Now, of course, he made a mistake because he let himself get spotted, so I can't even get an interrupt in, but my main plan was going to the cap. It might have been a safer option to charge those guys, because I could have angled better. But I feel like, I mean, our destroyer, for example, is not going to protect the cap, so, you know, somebody has to. So let's see. I managed to finish off the Fiji. Now, usually I'd say shooting the destroyer has priority, but if there is such a low health ship, and the Fiji is a ship that could possibly heal a little bit back up, drop into concealment and be smoking up again. So I thought like getting rid of him was the better option here. I have no idea why somebody is salty right now in chat though. Now overall this looks not very good. We are behind on ships, we are also behind on points. And I mean, they managed to delay our points progress a little bit. So even if we even up the ship counts, we will still be behind. But I mean, it's still over 8 minutes left, so who knows if points will be an issue in the end or not. Right now our biggest issue is sinking ships. And it looks like I'm dodging those destroyer torps, but I mean the destroyer is still around and he will certainly try again soon. Now I have two options. I could either try to charge those cruisers or I could go after this Prince Eitel Friedrich. Now I feel like we can just snipe that over here. It's probably going down right now. There you go. So my idea would be to try to get the Prince Eitel Friedrich. Now I can here go towards the left side or towards the right side. Considering that I have two battleships here on the left, it might have actually been better to come around the other side. Maybe try to get some torps into him. But then again, I feel like torpedo-wise, it's probably safer to stay like this. So I'm launching some torps here. I mean, it's possible that the Hatsuharu tries to sneak around on this side. There's a very low chance that those torps will do anything, but I felt like I'll give it a try. Now, of course, the torps would be far more useful right here, so a bit of a misjudgment on my part. Now, obviously, I can turn my ship around and use the torps on the other side, but if I could have launched torps right here, that Prince Eitel Friedrich would already be history. So, definitely didn't think that one through. I also didn't expect the Prince Eitel Friedrich to just stay here like this. I expected him, once I come around, to just be sailing away at full speed, and that would have made hitting him with torps rather hard. So, the Hatsuharu looks like peeked out of his smoke for whatever reason. I have to turn way too much to use the torps on the Prince Eitel Friedrich on this side, so let's just shoot into the smoke and let's... Now thankfully the destroyer, it sort of screwed up his launch, so I guess I'm dodging those. And guess what? My torps here have reloaded, so let's just give the Eitel Friedrich some help. And turns out that I managed to torpedo destroy in his smoke, which is hilarious. And there goes the Eitel Friedrich. So yeah, I found this highly amusing. Now, that leaves the enemy with 3 ships. They seem to have a pretty healthy Scharnhorst. I think the Dallas is rather low and the carrier. Now, I haven't seen planes in a while, which means the carrier might be out of planes and we are speeding this up. Now, it's 5.5 minutes left. We would just win if we do nothing. There is a slight problem with that. Our New Mexico is charging. If we lose the New Mexico, the enemy team will be in the lead. So we need to be in a position to help the New Mexico, because otherwise this New Mexico is just going to charge in and everything is lost. So my plan here is obviously just get there and help. I mean, I can understand that New Mexico would find it boring to just wait 5 minutes. 5 minutes is still quite a bit of time. Now, there is a bright spot here, and the bright spot is the enemy carrier is actually charging in. And you know what? I think we can reduce the speed here. You know what? If we sink that carrier, then it doesn't matter if we lose the New Mexico, we still win. And hey, I mean, it's also 3 damage, so nicely done. Now I can respect the carrier that believes everything is lost, so he goes charging in instead of prolonging the game. But I have to say, in his case, they still have a chance of winning. And the chance just was reduced by quite a bit, let's put it like this. So, the enemy cruiser has found himself a nice island, and now he's shooting without getting detected. We don't have any way of detecting him here. Unfortunately, my plane is currently just landing, so it's also uncertain if I could get shots at him if I see him. He has the better shell arcs than me, obviously. So, I mean, I myself could very well still go down, especially if I go too close to this Scharnhorst and he torpedoes me. This is something that I have to consider. Now I can try to get torpedoes going here and intercept this Scharnhorst, but I have to be careful. He might torpedo around this island at some point. I also have to be careful because I can't torpedo the New Mexico towards my left. He decides to charge in. Now I currently have 2 fires burning, so maybe I should just damage con. And I also do heal. Like, right now I want to preserve my health. It's only like a minute left. I feel like the chance that I get like a triple fire right now is rather low. So, I mean, this Scharnhorst, he could have torped here my way, but he might also just use the torps for New Mexico there. And that's basically the area there are torps coming. But they were those from the other side. It looks like they missed, but he might still have the launcher here towards my side. We get a visual on the Dallas, but island too high. So this is basically what I was afraid of. So we are going to lose the New Mexico here, but thankfully we are still in the lead because we sunk that carrier. So the next question, of course, is will he also sink the next battleship here? Oh, well, I guess we will sink the Scharnhorst instead. That just leaves the Dallas, and this is a win. Well, here we are with the results, and I did quite well, I'd say. So did Viper, and it turned out to be an enjoyable match. It was a bit slow in the beginning, but there was plenty of excitement in the end, and it turned out to be closer than it probably should have been. So I earned myself a Confederate Devastating Striker Dreadnought and a high caliber. Didn't quite get the Kraken, but it was a very enjoyable match. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I'll see you guys next time.